Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to have a look at another AsRock monitor, but the one we're looking at today is, as you can see there, the AsRock Phantom Gaming 27-inch 1440p curved QHD monitor. This is 165Hz panel, has all your usual like 1 millisecond response time, AMD FreeSync, DisplayPort 1.4 and all that sorts of stuff. Now I've already got it out of the box because that would be pretty impossible to do one-handed, so I'm just going to quickly have a look at everything, which is also going to be difficult to do one-handed. So we will get all this stuff off. So here is the base with the Phantom Gaming logo. Obviously this has peel on it. Now I won't be using this, I'll be sticking this on a VESA mount. This monitor can be mounted, it's like a 100 by 100 slot for a VESA mount, so I'm a 75 by 75. Now this monitor has a little bit of a weird party trick, which I will basically show you now. So this bit here, if I can get this out, because everything seems to be really spiky. This bit here is obviously the sort of arm that goes in the base. Now you might notice these down here. This monitor, or this arm in here, there is a Wi-Fi antenna. That's why it's quite chunky and thick. And basically what you do is you run Wi-Fi cables, which you get with the monitor, from the back of your motherboard to here, and then this then becomes the PC's Wi-Fi antenna. Now I don't need this, and obviously if you're using a VESA mount you can't use this because you wouldn't be using the stand. But it's quite a novel idea. I don't know what made AsRock think about doing something like that, and I've never seen it on another monitor. But I suppose it'd be handy for some people. There is some heft to it, you can't really see it in there. But yeah, so we'll have a look quickly at what you get with it. So you get your, as I said, the Wi-Fi antenna cables. You obviously get a DisplayPort 1.4, which is what I'll be using because you can't do 165Hz refresh on HDMI. You get a HDMI cable with it as well. Now, the one downside, and I've had this with both my AsRock monitors, is if you live in the UK like I do, they keep sending like European plugs, and then you obviously have to plug them into an adapter. Luckily this time they did send separately a UK plug. Now the last time I bought an AsRock monitor from the same company I didn't get this, but I'm wondering if I didn't get it because my last monitor was only I think it was £89 monitor, whereas this is more like £155. So that could be why they sent that. You obviously get your usual manual, and then you get this. I don't know what this is. It feels like a sweatband, to be honest, through the packet. Let's see if we can get it out. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. Oh, it's a cable sleeve, which is quite cool. It's got zip on both sides, as you can see. So you would obviously put your cable through the middle, sort of fold it over, and then zip it up, which is quite cool, I suppose. So now we will try and get the monitor out, which is also probably not going to be easy one-handed, but we will give it a shot. So we will have a look at the back of the panel first, which is there, as you can see. So you got like the AsRock logo up here, like they all have, and all the information about the monitor and everything down here. Now this uses obviously your typical like 3-pin sort of kettle cable, and then down here we obviously have 2 HDMI's, your 1 display port and a headphone jack. We get like to control like the menus, it has like a joystick, and then it has like buttons here. Obviously that's where you would mount this sort of thing, but obviously these screws are for, I'm guessing, yeah, I think this whole bit comes off to reveal the VESA mount underneath. So what I'll do is I'll jump cut now to it being all set up, plugged in and on my monitor arm, and then we'll have a look at various things on it, have a look at the menus quickly, see what they're like, see what it looks like in game. So I'll be back in a second. I'm back. So we got the monitor all set up, as you can see. This website here that I'm on is a decent website just to run your new monitor through some tests, just to see how it performs. But quickly before we do that, I'll get into the specs of this monitor as of AsRock's website. So it's a 27-inch panel. The curvature of the panel is 1500R. Obviously 16:9 aspect ratio, blah 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 blah. The panel type is a VA panel, not an IPS. It's got an anti-glare coating. Obviously the panel is 2560 by 1440, which is what everyone knows as 1440p. Some people call it 2K, but it's not actual 2K, it's not proper 2K. I won't even get into that. 165 Hz is max brightness. I'm not sure what that actually is, but it's 550 CDM. The contrast ratio is 4000 to 1. It's got 178 degree viewing angles, as you can see from me putting the camera side on. You can still see everything really well. Obviously 1 millisecond response time. It's HDR 400. Now you might not be able to tell on camera here, but I do have HDR turned on. Obviously flicker free, low blue light, yes. The integrated Wi-Fi antenna, which I'm obviously not using like I said earlier, is 7 dBi. I don't really know anything about Wi-Fi, but it says compatible with Wi-Fi 4, 5, 6, 6E and 7. It does have built-in speakers on the rear, so they're 2 2-watt speakers, so they're not great, but if you don't have little speakers, I have little pebbles here, but if you don't have speakers, they'll do the job. Like I said, it's got 1 DisplayPort 1.4, 2 HDMI 2.0s, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. Power consumption, for anyone that wants to know, typical is 45 watts, and max power consumption of the monitor is 80 watts. The monitor, when it's on the arm that comes with it, not obviously this VESA arm that I've got, will tilt plus 20 degrees, and like -7. So it will go back. It will go back sort of that way 20 degrees and forward 7. It swivels 20 degrees each way on that. It has height adjustment up to 100mm, and like I said, takes a VESA mount of 100 by 100. I don't think anyone cares about the weight, and according to the accessories on AsRock's page, which I'll show you here, you get power cord, DisplayPort cable, HDMI, Wi-Fi antenna, gaming cable sleeve, so we got everything in there, so that's fine. And as you can see, display HDR 400, AMD FreeSync, blah 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 blah. We all knew that basically. I'll leave a link in the description. I'll leave 2 links. I'll leave a link to where you can pick this up. this monitor, like an Amazon UK link, and I'll also leave a link to AsRock's page for this monitor so you can have a look yourself. But as for that, this website, Lagom.nl, has multiple different tests you can run your monitor through. So if I click up here on contrast, now you have to full screen your browser. For anyone that doesn't know how to do that, it's just F11 on your keyboard. So obviously this tests the contrast, and then it tells you basically how to read every test up here. So as it's saying, bar 1 should be visible, which the ones run down the left hand side, all the way to 32 on the right hand side. Like I said, a bad monitor will not show the leftmost few rectangles, so probably like the first 3 or 4 that are really dark. As you can see on this monitor, you can see them all, no problem. Clock and phase we don't need because we don't run VGA. That's a sharpness test, so for this one you basically, I'm sorry if this like sort of trips anyone's eyes out, but you see how you can kind of see some of the squares look more popped out, like kind of 3D, like they're popped out from the other ones. That is basically what you're looking for on a sharpness test for a monitor. Now obviously I'm not doing these tests in depth because I'm not Linus, I don't have £700 million to throw at like calibrated testing equipment for monitors, but we do what we can. And then you've got your gamma calibration, which I'm just going to gloss over. You've got your black levels. Now, like it says there, you should be able to see all of these, and you should be able to tell the difference between each one, which at really light and really dark should be harder than in the middle. Obviously you can tell the difference between this one here and this one here, but on a cheaper monitor you might not be able to tell the difference between this one here and this one here, which if I come out of full screen, if I drag this over to my other monitor, which is my cheaper AsRock monitor, see how it's way harder to tell the difference between 1, 2 and 3. And then if I drag it back over to this monitor and you look at 1, 2 and 3, you can really tell the difference. So that's what you want to be able to see on that. Then you've obviously got your white saturation, sorry for blinding anybody. But yeah, basically it's just, you take a step back, and the checkerboard patterns on each of the white squares should basically be distinguishable. So like how you can tell this is grey and then this is white, you should be able to tell the difference on every single sort of square. The only one that I can't tell the difference on really is this last one here. And then you've got banding, inversion, response time. I don't know, I've never used the response time test on this one. On the far right, the numbers between 2 grey levels, blah 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 blah. So this is obviously testing for ghosting, stuff like that, but I do have a different website that I do use for ghosting and stuff like that. Then you've got obviously your viewing angles, which obviously if you were to go really at an angle like that, you wouldn't be able to see that says Lagom, even like right up like that, you can still kind of see it. So it's got really good viewing angles. It does say on the website that they have really good viewing angles though. But let me see if I can get up the other website I like to use for testing response times and stuff like that. Basically, let me on full screen this and get rid of this. So I prefer to use this, which is called the UFO test. And basically what you want to do is down here where it says ready, obviously see the frame rate says 164 FPS, 165 Hz. 6 pixels per frame, pixels per second, 960. You basically hit. It's not actually using. Where is? Last time I used this, it had a little UFO going across here instead of sort of lines. Let me see if I can. Unless they got rid of that for some reason. But basically, when you full screen it like that, as they're going past, you shouldn't really be able to see any ghosting. So if like your eyes follow it, like I'm following it kind of with the camera, like they just look like straight lines, sort of thing. Ghosting will obviously leave a trail behind them, which you do get really bad ghosting on the cheaper monitors, so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm not going to load a game up because loading a game up doesn't really test anything. I don't really care what anyone else says. So yeah, all in all, it's a decent monitor for the price. Like I said, I paid I think it was 151 or something. Now the weird thing is, the place I got this from is a company down south in the UK called Inside Tech. Now, when I was looking for a monitor on there, they also had the exact same monitor as this same Phantom Gaming, but instead of 1440p, it was a 1080p model, but it was £4 more expensive for the lower resolution, which I find strange. So yeah, 150, 151 for a curved 1440p monitor, with obviously the whole strange sort of built-in Wi-Fi antenna. So if you're looking for kind of a sort of mid-range monitor, then I'd probably suggest taking a look at this monitor. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description below to the AsRock page and a page where you can pick one up. But yeah, I'll leave the video here for now, guys. And I just want to say thanks to everyone who's watching, subscribing. The channel seems to be really doing well at the minute. Hopefully we can keep it up. I will have another few controller reviews like you've seen. I'll have another few coming up in the next week or two. But yeah, for now, guys, thanks for everything. Take care, and I will catch you all in the next video.